Welcome to Pressplay Paolo.
Hey, Vinit, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for jumping on to our first podcast on this platform, which aims to share experiences, thoughts, and ideas from professionals and experts making the moves in the online video world and OTT businesses globally. A disclaimer before we start. Paolo and I worked together earlier when we were both at Brightcove, a NASDAQ listed online video platform, and both are ardent fans of karaoke and the Indian beer brand Bira. So, Paolo, why don't we begin the podcast by you sharing a brief background about yourself as well as Emergent?
I'd be happy to, and thank you again for having me on your inaugural podcast. I feel very honored to be your first guest. But yeah, as you said, my name is Paolo. I lead Evergent's business across Asia Pacific, including SARC, the Middle East, and Africa. And really, what Evergent provides is an integrated revenue and user management solution. And we're serving some of the world's leading media and communications companies. And at our core, what we're aiming to do is to reduce time to market for products and services. We try to, simplify monetization models and help our customers run their back office processes more efficiently. That's kind of like where we're coming from as a company, and we're working mainly with OTT providers. We do have some DTH customers or kind of legacy pay TV customers that work with us as well. And the company has been around for about 13 years. It was founded by our CEO and founder, Vijay Sajja. So in the early 2000s, Vijay was working as a consultant with some of the large cable companies in the U.S. At the time, he was based in Denver, and he noticed that each time they wanted to make a small change or create a bundle or a promotion or an offer, it was really painful because it required new development work, it cost an arm and a leg, took a long time. So he had the idea, to set out to build a new type of user management system, a billing system that would basically be entirely cloud-based and fully configurable. And the idea there was to shorten the amount of time it took to roll out new features and offers from weeks to months, and to perhaps days to hours, right? To really shorten it dramatically. And the first few years, I think, for the company, it was difficult to gain traction. The large pay TV providers in the U.S., they weren't necessarily ready to take a chance on a yet unproven cloud provider from a small company called Evergent. But the company persisted, and the company really found its footing with the advent of over-the-top video services. And I would say that happened starting in 2013, 2014, which is when I first learned about Evergent. I've known Vijay for about 7 years now. And look, the rest is history. Now we're a 300 plus person company with offices in 6 cities globally, and we're partnered with some of the world's largest providers and media companies, and we have a quite an enviable list of customers, not only in Asia Pacific but globally.
Wow, that's awesome. That's an awesome story. Thank you for sharing that. So Emergent has been around for some time now, and how have you seen? And you being part of Emergent for the last 2 years, and then over the last many years where you've known the company, how have you seen the trends in the online video business evolve? And what are some of the current trends that you would like to share with the audience from an Emergent point of view?
Sure. Like I think I can speak for the region that I operate in. As I said, I take care of Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. And I would say that in my region, 2020 really accelerated a lot of the trends that we were already seeing in the market. Uh, the established players from overseas, namely from the U.S., really started firming up their plans in the region. You think of the Warner Medias, you think of Disney Plus, and the regional players that exist within Asia Pacific. started setting their sights outwards in a bid to capture, what have been traditionally higher value customers for them in the West. So, I would say that in 2021, the streaming providers in this region have a massive opportunity to take their services to a global audience. Many of the conversations that we're having with some of the video providers in this region is precisely about how we can scale their service offerings beyond merely a regional play into a more global one. And I think that we'll start seeing a lot more of these regional OTT services, which perhaps are popular in their own country. They'll start going more global and building significant businesses for themselves outside of their own borders.
Awesome. Nice. And then that's interesting, right? So in terms of people and customers trying to find scale, um, it would be really great if you can also share maybe one or two case studies of customers that you have helped traverse this void of not going global, and how you have done that. uh, the audience would love to know more about some of these, at least one or two of the case studies that you can talk to of OTT providers that have benefited from Evergent.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we've got a pretty enviable list of customers that we work with. I can name a few right now. So one of the customers that we've done a lot of work with is BritBox out of the UK. BritBox is a venture between ITV and BBC, and basically it's bringing best of British content to content lovers globally. And they were having a lot of challenges. Before we met them, they needed a flexible subscription management system that would help enable their international expansion and do so in a reduced time frame. They needed, a system that would offer flexible offer and promotion management capabilities, in terms of, or to allow them rather to maximize their customer acquisition. And every country has its own unique needs. I needed something that was going to be flexible and allow them to evolve their business models and do so kind of on a regional basis, right? Because what works in the US may not work in Canada, may not work in Australia. So they were using, a system from actually several other providers for subscription and billing management, and then also for authentication and identity management. And what we ended up doing is we ended up coming in and replacing those systems in a matter of months. And the reason they chose us was they were kind of put off by the lack of flexibility, with the previous systems and that kind of my way or the highway approach. So the solution there that we offered again was a single platform to manage identity, manage coupons, offers, billing, promotions. And doing things like offering free trials, gifting of subscriptions, and again, just kind of allowing for an overall faster time to market, and providing a solid system to enable their regional expansion. So we went live with them. I believe it was in June of 2020, and they've been a valued customer um, ever since. We're also working with one of the large OTT providers in India. We work with Sony and have been for some time. So Sony, when we started working with them, they required a system that would be scalable, flexible, but kind of truly carrier grade, right? Something that was built for scale. Obviously, the volumes and the traffic that you'll see in a place like India are very different than what you might see in other parts of the world, just for sheer numbers, and also for the sheer number of people kind of coming online for the first time. And for many people, the OTT experience may be the first time they have kind of a video streaming experience that's very personalized to them and that can sit in the palm of their hand. So they needed a system that would be flexible in terms of offer and promotion management, and adaptable to kind of the changing landscape. And we're thinking back 6-7 years ago, it was very different. Things have evolved quite a bit, and the number of users coming online in India have evolved, or has evolved quite a bit as well. And then as you know very well, India is very unique in terms of the payment methods. Kind of payment methods in India are completely separate, and completely different than what you might find in other parts of the world. And being able to support that variety of payment methods, whether it be different wallets, credit cards, UPI, bank transfers, internet banking, all of this sorts of thing. You need to be able to enable those options, present them to a user in a way that is frictionless if you want to be able to capture as much market share as possible. So, in terms of the solution we offered a solution that basically did those things, right? It's a solution that offers kind of an end-to-end play for identity management, offer management, coupons, billing, promotion, and it's built for massive scale. I won't go into any numbers, of course, but we all know that there's a lot of people in India, right? There's over 1 billion people. Many people are connecting for the first time. You've got a population that is able to enjoy access to relatively cheap data rates, and you've got a lot of content that's online, from just general entertainment content to sporting content. And we've built the platform, and when we built the platform many years ago, we built it for that kind of scale. So I think it's been a great relationship with Sony, even just on that basis, because we've been able to kind of scale with their growth. And another thing that's kind of cool about what we're doing with them is that we've helped enable some of the innovative tie-ups that they have done with different B2B partners. They did a promotion with Indigo a few years back, where if you bought an airline ticket, you could then get access to the OTT platform. Kind of after you purchased the ticket for a certain number of days. That was a kind of a whole microsite they had enabled. And then we also do other cool things as well. So during the KBC event this year, there was kind of like a second screen experience where you could play along with what was happening on television, and that required us to do something within the back end system to support the influx of users that would be coming in and playing along. So those are some of the kind of the unique features and things that we've enabled for some of our customers.
Awesome, awesome. And you mentioned India there and Sony in particular, uh, and the debate has always been over the last 2 years, and even now is, are people willing to pay for content? And clearly, the pandemic has shown that there is a sizable audience that is now getting used to paying for content online. So, I wanted to pick your brains, and it would be valuable information even for the viewers and who track the OTT industry, as to what is the Emergent view, or what is your view on the future of the video subscription business, this part of the world. Are there different business models, or how do you see that evolving?
Yeah, look, I think the notion of let's say subscription video on demand business is not kind of working in India or anywhere else in let's say Southeast Asia or in emerging economies. I think that's kind of a bit of an antiquated notion. I think that there's room within the ecosystem for SVOD players to survive. I think there's room within the ecosystem for AVOD players to survive, and for hybrid players to survive as well, and to kind of make these kind of blanket statements to say, well, people in such and such a country don't want to pay for content because they were able to get pirated content for so many years. I don't know. I don't think that's true anymore. I think that's kind of a bit of an outdated notion. I think what some of the bigger services have shown us, whether it be Amazon Prime or Netflix, or even some of the regional services, well, that people are actually very willing to pay for content. You just have to give them the right content, give them what they need, and you have to give it to them at a price point that they're willing to pay. So I think the notion. I mean, you look at a place like India. I mean, to think that it's got one of the biggest entertainment industries in the world. Massive theater chains, that sort of thing. So the notion that somebody in India wouldn't want to pay for content seems crazy to me because they've always paid for content, right? So I think it's about just kind of creating the right user experience. I think it's about making sure that you're keeping content on the platform as fresh and as current as possible. Content that people want to keep coming back for. You can't just kind of put a bunch of content and walk away. Obviously, and you have to also meet people on their own terms in terms of how you enable them to pay. So again, when we talked about all those different payment methods that we're enabling in places like India, I mean, ultimately, you can't just kind of take a my way or the highway, or we're only going to take credit cards, or we're only going to take this. You have to enable a bunch of different payment methods, and you have to, I think, have a business development team that is innovative and not afraid to go out and cut distribution deals, whether it be with telco partners or traditional pay TV providers or even other providers, as well. There's a lot of other use cases out there, whether it be teaming up with like a hotel chain to offer your particular service within every hotel room, right? People would come in and maybe be able to buy like 1 or 2 days of the service when they're staying in a hotel for that night, whenever people can go back to hotels. So having kind of like the back end systems in place that allow you to do those sort of B2B tie-ups and partnerships, like that's what we're all about, and that's kind of what gets us excited to come to work every day.
Awesome. I think you touched upon a great point there, that it's all about distribution and partnerships. And a platform like Evergen can essentially enable and unlock value through those channels. Thanks for sharing that. Um, the next thing that I get hit a lot with when it comes to talking about Winvid, my new company, and how we can help, and the major help that people need today is how can they reduce churn. And this question is being thrown around a lot. User acquisition and churn are major concerns and pain points in the industry. From your point of view and Emergent, how can AI or machine learning, can that be used from a subscription management business point of view, especially to reduce churn?
Yeah, absolutely. I think experimenting with machine learning and AI is something that we've done a lot with. I mean, when we could travel and we could go to conferences a few years ago at IBC, we were lucky enough to be in the booths of all kind of three of the major cloud providers, AWS, um, Microsoft, as well as Google, and some of the use cases that we were promoting there, using different technologies that were available to us from each of those providers, was really around kind of an AI and machine learning sort of use case. And just to kind of give a bit more detail around that, we have a massive amount of data that we can gain when someone comes into the platform, signs up for a service, creates a user on our service, and that data can be used to do things like help with churn reduction. And just to kind of give you just a few sort of high level examples, right? You can imagine the situation where you, as Vinit, you're paying $10 a month for whatever SVOD service, or 10 rupees a month, or whatever happens to be, right? You're paying a certain amount of money, but you're not using the service, right? You're not coming in, you're not logging in. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to write or to train kind of machine learning algorithm to know that you may churn if you're not using that service for the next 2 or 3 months. So taking kind of those data sets in, understanding how often people are using the service, understanding even other things, perhaps the type of device you're using, the area of the country that you're coming from, and kind of inferring which users have a higher propensity to churn. Those are all things that we have built and that we've experimented with, and we're starting to implement with a number of our customers. Because basically, what it allows them to do is it allows them to kind of identify which users are at higher risk of churning, and we can do certain things based on that, right? We can do kind of a dynamic offer management. So maybe you, as a person that is about to churn, we would, put an offer in front of you saying, hey, look, notice that you're not using the service very much. Here's a bonus of TVOD a voucher, right, to watch your favorite movie next month. It's on us, right? So just kind of doing those things and making the customer feel taken care of and building that relationship of trust with the customer. I think that's where kind of machine learning and AI become really really powerful. Another use case that we've talked about a lot, and we have again been experimenting with it. We're in the process of implementing with a number of customers is around kind of just in time offer management. So you can imagine people coming from different areas of a certain country. You might have users that would be more apt to buy a higher value package or a longer term package in one shot versus somebody that comes with more, from more modest means, and maybe can only afford to buy, only a few days of a subscription video on demand service. So how do you use machine learning? How do you use AI to basically put offers in front of people using the data that we have at our disposal, but put offers in front of people that they are more likely to click on and more likely to convert on. So, the classic example you have is, somebody in an affluent area of the city, using an iPhone 12. Maybe that person, you put like an annual pack in front of him or her, or you put, your premium sports package, and you would put it in front of them, not just because it's the most expensive, but because that person is probably more likely to convert that on that offer. But somebody coming again from more modest means, maybe they have a lower end cell phone, and they come from perhaps a rural area or something like this. You would be able to present an offer that would be more in line with what they're likely to convert on. So maybe a daily pack or some sort of a sachet for a number of days. So those are the types of use cases that we're seeing and that we're experimenting with. I have to say that some of the customers that we speak to about this, or our customers that we speak to about this, they that kind of like handing things over to an algorithm kind of makes them nervous sometimes. Like they want to have their hands, on the control. They want to have their hands on the wheel. But I do think it's a trend that we'll be seeing more and more people kind of migrating towards, especially as the data gets richer, as more and more people come onto these platforms, and as they start looking for new techniques to reduce churn, and to supercharge their own growth.
Right. Nice. Um, those are some really strong examples of using, a intelligent system to basically make your business more efficient and more effective. And you mentioned that a good point that you mentioned is that there are a lot of the content owners and OTT providers who might not be comfortable in turning over their user management to a AI engine, or for a AI algorithm to make decisions for them. So towards that, I wanted to just understand from an Emergent point of view, what are some of the challenges that you guys, Asia is you take care of APAC, and APAC is arguably the most diverse, and the kind of people and geographies that you cover are all disparate and different in their own way. So how do you manage that, and what are some of the challenges that you guys face in Asia?
The challenges we're facing, or the challenges that our customers are facing?
The challenges that Emergent is facing in terms of managing such a large region, and what kind of people do you have on the ground across, and
Sure.
throw some light. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think my challenge is just finding enough hours in the day to have all the conversations that I need to have. I mean, I think what we're seeing is uh, like a lot of demand for products like ours. And look, we're not kind of relegated to just kind of a media and entertainment sort of use case. Although many of our customers are using us for that purpose. But when you look at our application and our platform more broadly, we're really here to help providers offer and sell any number of services, whether those are digital goods, but we can also do physical goods as well. In fact, we do physical goods. We have a use case. We have a use case in Japan where we're basically being used for the distribution of physical goods as part of a as part of a leasing service. Another use case in the US where it's an SVOD sort of play, as along with that you would get certain freebies or certain things included, like hey, if you order this SVOD package, we'll send you a T-shirt or something like this. So from our perspective, there's a lot of people that want to talk to us, and it's just kind of about finding enough hours in the day to make sure that we're able to kind of have those conversations. It's not me by myself in this region. I've got 8 people on my team. Everyone from kind of solution engineers to kind of new business people, business development people, account managers, and that sort of thing. So I have a lot of help, definitely. But yeah, I think for us, it's just about making sure that we're kind of reaching out to people, maintaining contact with the market. It's a little bit more difficult now. You know this very well, especially from our days at our previous company. We used to travel around quite a bit and go to different shows, go to different industry events, conferences, and that sort of thing. So I think one of the challenges for us has been, and this is probably not unique to us at all, is just how do we adapt our approach to kind of fit into a scenario where we're just all sitting in front of our computers all day, right? We have to be doing more on LinkedIn, we have to do more on WhatsApp, or phone calling, emails, all of the above. But kind of the days of kind of just bumping into people casually and randomly, I wouldn't say they're gone, because I don't think they're gone at all, but I think that they're paused, definitely, and hopefully they'll come back soon. But for now, we're kind of in this situation that we're in.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next time we meet and get that bira, maybe in Singapore or maybe in Mumbai.
I've got a cold case in the fridge right now. You're welcome to any of them.
No, this is great, Paolo. This is, I think, some of the information and nuggets that you have shared will definitely benefit the audience, as especially some of the new entrants, but also the existing OTT owners and content owners who have all seen tremendous surge over the last 1 year. And I think we keep talking about this tipping point for video, and we've smashed it in the last 24 months. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Paolo. And on a parting note, just on a on your personal side, what are some of your interests, hobbies, passions beyond video and Evergen?
Oh, look, I mean, this Evergen keeps me quite busy. I'm somebody who's very passionate about their work. I'm kind of not a not a 9 to 5 person, as you know. Outside of this, I mean, I've got 2 young children. They keep me quite busy and on my toes. But whenever I can find some time to relax, either to read a book or to hit the gym, that's kind of what I do. In my former life, I say I like traveling quite a bit, but that's been put on pause. But look, I live in a great city, Singapore, so there's plenty for us to do here. But yeah, I'd say those are the things that I'm most passionate about.
Great, Paolo. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. And until we meet again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I wish you a lot of success with your business and with your podcast. Thank you, Vinit.
Thanks, Paolo.